What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we probably need to have a little bit of a chat about Diaboromon. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very aware of the Digimon TCG. I like to follow every part of it. I like to, as you probably have seen on this channel, I like to look at new cards as they come out. I like to look at new decks. I like to look at news. I like to look at the conversation. And part of the conversation over the past couple of weeks has been about Diaboromon, specifically the promo Diaboromon. Because unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we might be running into a little bit of a problem, because Diaboromon seems like it might end up being a little bit too good. Now, for those of you that need a little bit of background, essentially, this is the Diaboromon which is coming around in the promo pack. So it's a tournament pack. So you go to a tournament, it's a participation prize, you get yourself one pack with one card in, and there are 8 different cards, 4 purple, 4 black, one of which is Diaboromon. So when you run out to these tournaments, you get yourself one participation pack. Bearing in mind, many of these tournaments haven't actually been running yet because of the whole damn panic thing. And you have a 1 in 8 chance of it being a Diaboromon. And the problem is that these Diaboromon have been selling for up to $70, $80. Well, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, $70, $80, that is a lot for a promo that is coming around in a tournament pack. You know, you go to a tournament, you get a random card as a promo, or random out of 8, and then all of a sudden it's worth $80. This could end up being a little bit of a problem, and I worry that it actually will be. You see, and look, I've made this point several times before, and this really does bear repeating. Any card, with, I suppose, probably a few rare exceptions, can end up being really good with just the right support coming. So I'm going to say at the moment, these black cards in the promo packs have actually proven to be quite a bit better than the equivalent purple cards. The purple cards really haven't been seeing very much play at all. I mean, the equivalent that we've been seeing in this promo pack is in, because you get a level 3, 4, 5, and 6 for purple and for black. The equivalent in purple is the Venom Myotismon. When it's deleted, you may play a purple Digimon card level 4 or less from your trash without paying its cost. It's fine. I've seen it in deck lists, but it has certainly it's not exactly been set in the competitive world on fire. The problem is that with the new cards, especially from BT5, this Diaboromon has ended up being pretty gosh darn good. I've already shown you a deck list where it's doing a bunch of winning. Now, one thing that must be borne in mind here is that over in Japan, this isn't a problem. I've mentioned this before. They had the promo pack over in Japan, and it looked very much like our pack, except for the fact that it had a full colour and all of that. But it had one of each. And I think it was given away at tournaments. It was definitely put on the front of a magazine. So they just, I mean, they could literally have gone and bought 4 of the magazines and had a playset of all the cards, Diaboromon included. The issue we've got here is we're in a situation where Diaboromon might genuinely be really good, and it might also genuinely be really hard to get hold of, and that looks kind of like it's a genuinely big problem. Now, of course, there is a solution to this. There's a very easy solution to this. The only thing that Digimon need to actually do in order to fix this, print more. Simple as that. Just print more. And that will immediately fix the entire problem. Just print a bunch more. Maybe it's not just a tournament promo, maybe it's a little bit more. Maybe there are other places to go ahead and get it. Or maybe they just leave this as a tournament promo, but they have it in more tournaments. Essentially, they flood the market with the cards. Because essentially, I mean, we've seen this on the graphic here, every shop is being given 32 copies of this pack, while there are 8 cards in there, which means assuming a random distribution, on average, we expect every store to get 4 of each card or a playset of the card. So when you go along to your locals, there are essentially enough Diaboromon for one player to have a playset of them, and everybody else misses out. And that's where this ends up becoming a little bit awkward. Because this is, and I made a video about this a while ago, is pretty much when I dropped out of the Dragon Ball Super card game. Too many exclusive promos that were hard to get. Now, let me be perfectly clear, alright? This is, as it stands at the moment, a bit of an aberration. This is the one example I can give you, because we often have alternate art promos in Digimon, but this is the one example I can give you so far, although I did mention Pulsemon the other day. I've got my eye on Pulsemon, of a Digimon which is actually good, and actually legit, and actually playable, and actually only available as a promo, which is quite rare and hard to get hold of and could be a real pain in the neck. So, I'm not ready to push the panic button yet, but the cheapest I've really seen this going for on eBay is about $50. Do you really want to pay $200 to get yourself a playset of Diaboromon? I don't, personally. Now, I should mention, what Diaboromon basically does is, for each Diaboromon you have in play, you get security attack +1. And bearing in mind, these Diaboromon decks are all built around playing Diaboromon tokens, and when in play, a Diaboromon token counts as a Diaboromon in the same way that a Diaboromon does. So we've got the Diaboromon from Booster 1.0, whereby every time you attack, you play a token. So you hopefully flood in that way. Now, some of you will have been playing in the Booster 1.0 meta and going, well, hang on a second, Wossy. Diaboromon's kind of trash. And you're right. Diaboromon was garbage in the 1.0 meta, and the reason is that the 1.0 meta was absolutely just dominated by Omnimon, and when you Digivolve into Omnimon, you essentially pick a Digimon name, and you delete all of your opponent's Digimon with that name. So you pick Diaboromon, and you get rid of all the Diaboromon and all the tokens, and essentially they get to board wipe you when they Digivolve into Omnimon, and bearing in mind the two best decks have been Red Omnimon and Blue Omnimon, so it kind of explains why Diaboromon hasn't seen a huge amount of play. The thing is, as you move into the BT5 meta, which is where Japan is at the moment, with their newer set, the Battle of Omega, things have changed drastically. And partly it's because Diaboromon's got a few more tricks, which is lovely, and partly it's because of Armageddonmon. You see, Armageddonmon is a level 7, which can Digivolve from black or white, i.e. it fits neatly into a Diaboromon deck. The parts for Diaboromon are black, and then Diaboromon is white, so Armageddonmon just fits very neatly into the deck. But Armageddonmon says that on all turns, both players' turns, level 7 Digimon do not activate their when Digivolving effects. Basically, it says, hey, you know that Omnimon skill you're really scared about? It's alright, mate. Doesn't work anymore. And that is absolutely huge. Now you've basically got a built-in counter to Omnimon, and that changes everything. Not to mention that Armageddonmon, when you play it from your hand, you can delete a Diaboromon, yes, including a token. They're indistinguishable when they're in play, to reduce the cost by 12. When I say indistinguishable, I mean they are treated as Diaboromon regardless of whether they're a token or not. So Armageddonmon becomes good. But we've also got Diaboromon, that when you Digivolve, you get to play a token. And Arata Sonata, which is a tamer, but when you Digivolve into Diaboromon, you get to play a token. And Infirmon, with an inheritable skill that says when deleted, you get to play a token. And Chrysalismon, that gives all your Digimon that share a name with it Rush, i.e. if you Digivolve it into a Diaboromon, all your tokens will then get Rush. Not to mention you can play Arata Sonata for free if you don't have one in play when you Digivolve into it. We've got Keramon, that when you play it, you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, find a Digimon with unidentified and an Arata Sonata, and put them into your hand. What they've basically done in BT5 is give us a bunch of new tricks to make Diaboromon decks better and more consistent and, well, better. while also giving us a counter to the counter, which was stopping us being able to play it. Diaboromon looked good in the Booster 1.0 format, but Omnimon was such a hard counter it was kind of a joke. That's not the case anymore. And before we finish, I should mention, if we look at the other black promos, these also fit neatly into Diaboromon decks. Keramon, you get an extra 1,000 power, and that's on your opponent's turn, not on yours. That could fit into any black deck. The Chrysalismon has got blocker, and when you attack, you lose 2 memory. It's a standard blocker, but we like blockers. And Infernmon, when you play, you de-digivolve 1 to one of your opponent's Digimon. That, incidentally, is the one that's not really seeing any play. The Infernmon is the worst of the black cards. But I've seen the other two play in Diaboromon decks. And certainly if you're playing a Diaboromon deck, you are going to want this Diaboromon. Remember, in Digimon, you are constrained not by the name of the Digimon, like in, say, Pokemon. You are constrained by the number. So because this and the 1.0 Diaboromon and the BT5 Diaboromon all have different names, you could potentially play 4 of each. And now, all of a sudden, we've got a way, way better deck. And this fits so nicely because you've got the security attack +1. So you know what? It's probably going to see play. Now the good news is it's probably not going to be a 4, it's probably going to be nearer to a 2 or 3. But as it stands at the moment, this is not an easy or a cheap card to get hold of, but it might actually end up being a really, really good deck. And that is a bit of a problem. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think. Do you think it's a problem? Are you worried about it? Are we all just worried about nothing? Let me know in the comment section. Get us, me nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.